We're going on to some more positive news. The Proteas, as I mentioned, reaching the #1 spot in the ODI rankings after another one-day series clean sweep, this time over Sri Lanka, and Imran Tahir grabbing the #1 bowling spot, which is not bad for a 37-year-old.
No, not at all. I was actually quite surprised to read that he had gone to #1. You know, not only he's #1, obviously the Proteas now #1 in the ODI rankings, which obviously bodes well for the upcoming Champions Trophy later in the year. They're on a fantastic ODI win streak at the moment. Obviously, I think going to be a little bit more tested by New Zealand in the coming weeks, but we'll get to that later on. But you know, another fantastic professional performance by the team. Hashim Amla, Quinton de Kock doing fantastic things up front in the order at Centurion. You know, racking up the runs, it seems like, you know, the over 350, I think we now hold the record. I read the 24th time we've scored over 350 runs in ODI, which is a world record. So no problem when it comes to scoring runs. The bowling department still, I think, needs a little bit of work. Some bowlers travelling a little bit more than they'd like, just not disciplined line and length. You know, Sri Lanka, even though they didn't come close, they still got you know, around about that 300 mark, and they've done that a couple of times in the series without really looking like they were actually going to win a game. So we are conceding a few more runs than I think Coach Russell Domingo would like. So there's always something to work on, which is, you know, the nice thing about cricket. There's no perfect performance with a bat, with a ball, and in the field. We've seen them drop a number of catches in the field as well. So you know, they'll certainly have things to work on. But now they're in New Zealand. First and only 2020 takes place on Friday before they move into the ODI series and then tests after that. It's a big year for Proteas cricket. We talked about the Champions Trophy, obviously the big tour to England mid-year, then matches against Australia and India later in the year as well. So a good year if you're a cricket fan. But you know, we're off to a good start, so long may it continue.
And ironically, Rob, Russell Domingo's job is not entirely secure. Would you say then that the Test side and the ODI side really have hit their straps and have got the balance right? I mean, the T20 side, I guess, is always kind of the nurturing the new talent.
Yeah, I think they're incredibly settled at all levels now, and a tribute to both coach and selectors. I think there's been a real pattern of sort of consistency and calmness in selection. You know, players have been made to feel part of the furniture, which I think has been very important. That's kept everybody really sort of motivated. You mentioned Russell Domingo, of course. It's unfortunate in a way that his name, rather bizarrely, has actually come into the picture, because at the moment it's completely sort of farcical that you have to even be talking about the possibility of sort of tumult in the coaching role when the Proteas on this huge winning streak. They've just completed probably their finest home summer on paper, on record post-isolation, quite frankly. I mean, you know, when you look at how they blitzed the Aussies in the one-dayers, beat New Zealand in a short test series, with one game, you know, very badly weather affected, a total clean-up of Sri Lanka. Forget about the T20s, they were really pretty unimportant, really. They were clean swept in the test series and the ODIs. What more could the guys be doing? And certainly Domingo as well. So interesting, though, that he's sort of saying that he's going to have to think about the situation. I imagine he's probably a little bit nose out of joint about the very fact that there has been speculation that certain people within Cricket South Africa are keen on someone like Jeffrey Toyana, for instance, being given a role. But he's a franchise coach, and which is what Russell Domingo was. But Domingo has done very little wrong in the last few months. There have been issues around him before. A year back, we might have been more justified. Right now, his job should be absolutely rock solid, and it's really unfortunate that it's the one sort of issue that comes into the limelight at a time when it's completely really avoidable.